Squier Paranormal Troublemaker. There's a lot of gold bling going on. Gold caps on the witch hat knob. It definitely looks like trouble. There's a lot going on, and for me, you know, it's option paralysis. Waste of time, I think. Waste of time. It's got that much movement, nothing's happening. Tuners are rubbish. I was thinking, would you gig with it? I don't know. I don't know if I would without a little bit of work on this. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. Nice surprise this week for me. I surprised myself with this. Squier Paranormal Troublemaker Telecaster Deluxe. I had no idea I was going to get this, and then on Saturday I'm online looking at guitar porn, you know, as you do, and this sort of popped up. I think it's a new release, one of the new Squier Paranormals, and I thought, I should get one. I knew you lot would. Well, it's the sort of thing I think you lot like, because it's a inexpensive guitar. It's an affordable guitar, and we like affordable guitars, don't we? This one, well, the retail on this, 439 English pounds. I paid 419 from Gear for Music, one of the places I buy my stuff from. 419, and it's you know, truth be told, I had a bit of gas the last week, and I've been looking at some more expensive things that I couldn't really afford. So on Saturday, this was kind of a bit of a relief, you know, a bit of gas relief, you know. It popped up and I thought, well, I can justify that. It'd be good to review it for the channel, and it's not anywhere near as expensive as that other thing that I had my eye on. So I bought it. I bought it on Saturday, and I got it yesterday. It's Tuesday morning now. It's Monday yesterday. Yeah, well, it generally is before Tuesday, isn't it? So I bought it Saturday, late Saturday it was as well, late Saturday night I think it was. So well done Gear for Music, shipped it on the Sunday, and I got it Monday. So that's good service, isn't it? We like that. What do you think? Now, I don't think I realised that it was gold, bling, gold bling. I don't think I realised that the hardware was all gold. But anyway, we'll get into that. What I'm going to do now, obviously, is I'm going to review it. I'm going to do all the stuff we normally do. I'm going to weigh it, take it apart, poke it around, put it back together and play it. You know the score. Timestamps are in the description box if you're in a hurry. So skip forward to just hear what it sounds like or whatever appeals to you. If you've got a little bit of time on your hands, I urge you to go and put the kettle on, make yourself a nice cup of tea, or maybe get something a little bit stronger today, and some nibbles. Come back and chill out and join us as we have a closer look at this little troublemaker. Yeah, let's do it. So the Troublemaker Telecaster. It sounds a little bit Nashville, doesn't it? And it looks a little bit Nashville to my eye. Quite blingy. This is gold. It doesn't necessarily show up that well on all these cameras, but all this hardware's gold. And I don't think I realised that when I bought it. So it's taken a little bit of getting used to. But this model comes in two colours. This one, the black with the gold hardware, and then also, I think they call it an Aztec gold with nickel hardware. So if you're not, well, if you don't like gold, you're stuffed really, aren't you, one way or another. But, you know, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Now, I was intrigued to find out if this is a totally new kind of, you know, paranormal design layout thing, because I wasn't that familiar with, you know, Telecasters that have the traditional stop tailpiece, and this is a Nashville style bridge, isn't it? Yeah, Nashville style. So Yeah, I mean, it's not unique. This is my 5 minutes research this morning reveals a Japanese limited edition Troublemaker Telecaster. 3 colours, crimson, red. That looks cool, doesn't it? White or black. That had a mahogany body and a maple cap. So that's going the full Gibson route, isn't it? You know, mahogany, maple, Gibson layout. This isn't like that. This is a poplar body. Poplar body, no maple cap. It's got a maple neck, bolt-on neck, as you can see. Before we look at that any closer, let's weigh it. Here we go. £7 5 ounces, which is 3.32 kilos. So it's not a lightweight, is it? But it's a little bit of heft to it, but yeah, kind of all right, isn't it? So as I said, it's a poplar body on this, polyurethane finish, and it's got this white binding all the way round. A little bit too white for my eye. It's got this nice kind of parchment colour scratch plate. Does, you know, it jars a little bit. Be nice if the binding was a kind of an off-white as well, wouldn't it? Or nicer. Yeah, and traditional Gibson layout. 2 humbuckers, stop tailpiece and Nashville bridge. 2 volumes, 2 tones. 3-way switch, which feels a bit on the cheap side. Bolt-on neck, a la Fender. So it goes back into Fender territory, doesn't it? With a bolt-on neck. Medium C profile. Measure that in a second. Blingy gold Clusen Deluxe style vintage tuners with metal buttons. Very bling. Crafted in Indonesia, this one. There you go, Squier. Little gold. Does that look gold? It doesn't look gold on that camera, does it? I'm sure it does on some of the others. But yeah, it's all very gold. Strap buttons are gold. There's a lot of gold bling going on. Gold caps on the witch hat knobs. And this has got coil splits as well, which we'll look at in a bit. So let's have a look at the neck profile and measurements. Okay, here's the neck profile and measurements at the 1st fret. And here's the neck profile and measurements at the 12th fret. And in the hand, it just feels comfortable, really. It's quite shallow, it's quite slim, I think we've seen. It just feels comfortable, really. Took this home last night and thoroughly enjoyed playing it, I'll be honest with you. Narrow, tall frets. Let's get the strings off and have a closer look at those now. So narrow, tall frets, they don't look especially narrow. Yeah, I suppose I can see why they call them tall. You can definitely feel them, but they look sort of kind of medium width to my eye. And nice fret job, really, yeah, really nice actually. Let's pop some close-ups in there so you can hopefully see that. To the naked eye, anyway, they look really clean. Binding, Scottish fret over binding, unlike Gibson. You can see a little bit of tiny little bit of tooling on the binding maybe, but no ridges or big gaps or globs of glue or anything like that. Oh, hang on, what's that? No, neat and tidy. It's got a bone nut on this, and I think, as I said already, the Clusen vintage style pressing bushings. Nice matching headstock. Obviously, we should mention that as well. And a lot of bling. Yeah, there's the. So I say the Nashville style because it's got no spring and it's slightly wider than the other style of the tune-o-matic is the ABR1, obviously. It's stamped on the bottom BM003. I've no idea what that means. I've got to try and remember which way round it came off. It was that, I'm sure. I can refer back later on when I put the strings on. Don't worry, I'll get it right. Big old posts. Big old posts. Let's get one of my Epiphone replacements and see if it's the same. Might save some of you some hassle in the future. Hang on. Right, so this is the Epiphone ABR1 style tune-o-matic. There you go with the wire, and it's slightly narrower. See what I mean? Let's see if that pops straight on. There you go, it does. There you go. So that might be useful to you, because if you wanted to replace that at any point with something a little bit fancier, you'll find that what they call the metric bridges are kind of normally fit Epiphones. So that might be useful to you. There you go. Let's put those down there for a second. Back to the board, I forgot to mention it's got a Laurel fingerboard. It looks all right, doesn't it? Yeah. This one's got quite a glossy finish on the neck there. Smooth, as I said, comfortable. So that's all that stuff, isn't it, really? We'll get to the electronics in a minute. Let's take some pickup readings. Start with the bridge. 7.93K. And the inductance of that is 3.78 Henrys. Let's go over to the bridge, the neck. I haven't done that for ages. 7.55 kilo ohms, and the inductance is 3.61 Henrys. Middle position, just for fun. Don't know who enjoys that. 3.87K. Now, these have got coil splits. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the bridge. 7.93, remember. Let's split that. Yeah, just over half. There you go. And neck, same. Pull the tone up, and you've got 3.82. There you go. Now these, because these are witch hat knobs, and the problem is there's a lot of slippage goes on. That really hard to pull up. So you literally have to use your fingers like that. So that's not great. Anyway, that's that. Let's see if there's anything under the scratch plate pick guard. No, nothing under there. So just leave some holes. So you might want to. Can you hear my square cheeking, my chair squeaking? You probably can't. It keeps on doing it. I must oil it. It's got holes that you could fill with a little bit of black sealing wax. That's my top tip, if you wanted to, because you won't really notice them if you do that, and you can obviously then put the scratch plate pickguard. I need to decide whether it's called a scratch plate or a pickguard. I think what I'm going to say is that a flat one that goes flat, or a flat one that goes flat on a guitar like this, is a scratch plate, and a Les Paul style that's lifted is a pickguard. That's what I'm going to do from now on, because I'm confusing myself all the time and annoying myself every time I say it. Anyway, yeah, so you could fill the holes up if you wanted to. That's a scratch plate. These are the pickups, and now we're going to have a look underneath them. Now, these pickups are called Fender designed Alnico. They don't say what type of Alnico magnet. Here you go. You can't, well, you might be able to see. There's not much to see there. I mean, it's a hole and a pickup goes in it, but it's got the label that says LE, limited edition, by the way. And the pickup on the back there, again, lots of numbers. The only bit that I really understand is the last bit that says front. If you watch Joe Bonamassa's interviews, he always refers to the pickups as front and back, doesn't he? So maybe I should start doing that, because I might get it correct more often. And looking here in the back pickup. Doesn't actually say back on that. Let's try and get a bit more cable. I don't want to break it. Well, I think you can see that now. You can't because it's out of shot. There you go. Just to prove it doesn't say back. Black. There you go. Let's put that back. Look in the switch cavity. It's like a proper mechanical one. You'd call it mechanical, wouldn't you? Just feels a bit clunky, but that's what that looks like. And here are the controls. Little mini pots. Yeah, what's that? A Rogue. Oh, God. It definitely looks like Trouble. I don't know if you can see that very clearly with this little tiny light. I'm going to try and rig a proper light up at some point. There you go. Yeah. It's got a Rogue bit of wire there. It's not connected to anything. Looks like they changed their mind while they were wiring it. Oh, God. It is asking for trouble, all that. Yeah, cheap or affordable guitars with complicated wiring, push-pulls, is a recipe for disaster. I'll be honest, when I plugged this in at home last night, straight away, I had a problem with the bridge neck. Done it again. What's wrong with me? With the front pickup. It didn't work. I don't know. It might have been my lead or something. It then started working. So, well, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put a new set of strings on. We're gonna plug it in, and we're gonna see if all that works. So, let's do it. See you in a second. Here we are. It works. Middle. It's out of phase. We'll look at that in a second. But yeah, volume's rolled off. Let's quickly go through all the settings so we can hear what we're doing. No pedals at all. That's just in the amp. It's the Princeton 65 as always, you know, on the edge, and it's pushing it quite hard. On the back pickup, on the front pickup, wide open. Bit of twang to it, isn't it? Now, these have got coil splits, so let's do that next. Back. Front. If I keep saying it, it'll sink in, won't it? Not bad. Doesn't lose too much volume, does it? Okay, middle quickly is. It's very out of phase, isn't it? Which is okay. It's a nice enough. It's usable, but the problem is, it's what you've got in the middle position. You can't, you know, you can't blend the pickups without them being out of phase, which is, I think it's a bit of a shame. I think it would be nicer if it was an option, but it's not. So there you go. What I'll do is I'll put a little loop down and I'll play around now with all of those settings, and I'll probably, if I tread on the pedals, I've got the soul food and the rat on the board, as usual, because I haven't bothered to change them recently. If I use them, which I think I probably will, I'll show you, okay? So let's just put a simple loop down and see what happens. Here we go. It's all right, actually. It's all kind of usable, but I get paralysed by all the options available. That's why I love, we did last week, one pickup, one volume and one tone. You just concentrate on your playing, really. And as my playing demonstrates this week, it's dreadful, really. I'm thinking about all of this rather than just playing. I'm struggling. I really am struggling this week, honestly. Yeah, dreadful. You know, it sounds all right. It's just, what are you going to do with it? I mean, you just want a guitar that sounds like something, don't you? For me, anyway, you know, I don't like all these options. Waste of time, I think. Waste of time. Anyway, what occurred to me is that this is Francie Rossi rig, isn't it? He did this. He put a stop tail and did he do it himself? He might have done it himself even. I think he drilled a hole in it, so he probably did. Tune-o-matic bridge and stop tail on his green Telecaster. So let's try a bit of quote, see if it can do the quote, shall we? Yeah. We need a open G tuning for that. So that's dropping the E string to D, and the A string to G. These tuners are not great. It's movement. It's just not very good. Another moan. Those three stay the same. High. Goes down to D as well, giving us a G. Or thereabouts. Look, moving as well. It's got that much movement, nothing's happening. It's really poor. Tuners are rubbish. Worked, didn't it? There you go. Bit of blues, a bit of the Quo, and a bit of Dickey. You wouldn't have recognised any of that, obviously, but that was my version. I struggled this week, but you know, we've got it together enough to demonstrate the guitar. That's all I try and do here. Play stuff that shows what the guitar's capable of, not what I'm capable of. Okay. So, what's the guitar capable of? Jack of all trades, I think, comes to mind. It is versatile, but in that, I think it's a bit bland. It's a bit generic. It's just all right, isn't it? Really, I don't think it does any one thing remarkably well because it's trying to be a jack of all trades. And as I said earlier, I have a problem with that anyway because it's too many options, and I just want it to sound good. There are some good sounds here, and I think we might have heard a couple of them. But you really have to work quite hard to actually chance upon them, really. I think chance upon them, you know, muck around until it all of a sudden, oh, there it is, you know. Don't touch that dial. The middle position is out of phase, and that's it, full stop. I suppose if you dance around with the knobs, you know, you can maybe get something decent. There's a lot going on, and for me, you know, it's option paralysis. For you, you might love that. You might love that. But obviously, making a guitar to cost, all of this stuff that's going on is going to be budget. So, yeah, it sounds all right. Could have better pickups. Could have better electronics. You know where we're going with this, don't you? It's a brilliant modding platform because it's also slightly different. It's different enough to start with to possibly justify the expense of buying the guitar, £419 I paid for it. So you get a T-style guitar, you get a Telecaster actually, Telecaster Deluxe, with the Gibson layout, which is, you know, fairly unusual. So it's a good thing to have, maybe. What I would do with this is simplify the controls, put some nice wiring in it, a nice set of pickups. You could go a number of ways with the pickups, couldn't you? Because you can get all sorts of different humbucker-sized pickups. You could still have a coil split on them if you wanted. You could have P90, you know, humbucker-sized P90s if you wanted, or all the other sort you can get. I can't think of them off the top of my head. You could change the hardware. Now, what I would do is I would change it for nickel-coloured hardware. I'd get a nice quality tailpiece and, you know, an import bridge. Nice, you know, Faber I like, or Goto or something like that. And the tuners, the tuners really, look, they hold tune. They hold tune. It's a bit of a struggle getting there because there's this free play in the buttons. It's not there now, but when you start moving them, all of a sudden you find, you know, quarter of a turn you know, all of a sudden it's free play. So you have to tweak it. You have to tweak it quite a bit to actually, you know, find the biting point and get it in tune. Once it's there, it stays in tune. But it's bloody annoying, to be honest with you. So they'd need to go. So yeah, tuners, pickups, controls, hardware. So everything except for the body and bridge, replace it all. You'd have a killer guitar to your taste. You know, you might want to put locking tune. You know what I'm saying. Great mod platform as a guitar as it is. Well, you know, it does the job. You know, if you can be bothered to muck around and work out what you like, what settings you like, it would work. Why am I hesitant? I don't know. I wouldn't trust the electronics on it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't trust the tuners on it. So I was thinking, would you gig with it? I don't know. I don't know if I would without a little bit of work on this. It's not often I'd say that about a Squier, but normally they're sort of fairly basic, you know, stuff. With this, I suppose maybe it's because they're. I don't know why it is. Why is it? Maybe is it because they're gold, that they've come out of a different process, and then maybe they're not as good as the normal tuners, or maybe Squier tuners have just become a little bit pants lately. I don't know. But you know what? It's a cool guitar, and I think I'll hang on to it, and I think I'll mod it. I think we'll muck around with it and do a little bit of a mod squad job on it, shall we? Let me know what you think. Am I being a little bit harsh with it? It's not, I mean, it's not cheap, is it? It's not a cheap guitar. So, you know, I don't know, a lot of you will go, well, you know, if you can get, it's probably a Harley Benton equivalent that you can get for 100 quid and is top notch. But I don't know. Well, look, you let me know what you think. That was my subjective review. I like it, but it's a bit... I do like it, honestly, I like it. It's nice to play, but it's a bit fussy. Yeah, it's a bit fussy. Yeah, I think that's all. I'm going to leave it there, I think, because I seem to be undecided myself what I think of it. You let me know what you think about it, because that's the important thing, not what I think, what you think. You might absolutely love it. I think it looks good. I think I'd prefer it with nickel hardware, but yeah, well, maybe we'll find out what it looks like with nickel hardware. Thanks for watching. Come back next week, same time, same place. I don't know what I'm doing yet next week. I like to keep myself guessing. So come back this time next week and let's find out. All right, see you then, I hope. Cheers. Ta-da.